If you're buying a home in Texas, you may be asked to sign a buyer representation agreement. And for a lot of buyers, that moment feels awkward. They are thinking, why am I signing something before I even found a house? Am I locked in? Is this just about commissions? What if I go to an open house? What if I visit a builder? What if I find a property myself? Those are all fair questions. The buyer representation agreement should not feel mysterious. It should create clarity. The easiest way to understand it is through 5 questions. Who represents you? How long does the agreement last? What properties are covered? How is the compensation handled? And what happens if you find a house another way? I'm Meras with Paragon Realty Advisors, and in this video, we are going to explain the Texas Buyer's Representation Agreement in plain English. This is not legal advice, and we are not attorneys. If you have legal questions, you should speak with a qualified attorney. But if you are buying in Dallas-Fort Worth, this is a document you should understand before you sign. The first question is simple. Who represents you? In a real estate transaction, representation matters. The listing agent represents the seller. Their job is to help the seller accomplish the seller's goals. That does not mean the listing agent is dishonest. It means they have a client. If you are a buyer, you need to know who is advising you. The buyer representation agreement establishes that your broker is representing you as a buyer, subject to the terms of the agreement. That matters because buying a home is not just about access. It is not just about opening doors. A buyer's agent should help you evaluate the market, understand neighborhoods, compare homes, structure offers, manage deadlines, negotiate inspections, understand appraisal risk, and think through the total cost. The agreement creates a framework for that relationship. The second question is the term. How long does this agreement last? Some agreements may be for one property, some may be for a short period. Some may cover a broader search. Some may be longer if the buyer and agent are committed to working together over time. There is not one perfect answer. The term should match the relationship. If you are just meeting somebody for the first time, you may want the scope to be narrow. If you have chosen that agent to guide you through the full search, a broader agreement may make more sense. The key is that you should understand what you are agreeing to. Ask, when does it begin? When does it end? Can it be canceled? Does it apply to one property or all properties? And does it apply to all of DFW or just certain areas? Does it include new construction? Does it include investment properties? Does it include leases? The term and scope should be clear before you rely on a relationship. The third question is scope. What types of properties are covered? A buyer searching for a resale home in North Dallas may need different advice than a buyer considering new construction in Prosper or Salina. A first-time home buyer needs a different process than an investor. A downsizer may care about maintenance, HOA, accessibility, and lifestyle. A relocation buyer may care about commute, schools, property taxes, toll roads, and micro-markets. The agreement should make sense for the kind of search you are actually doing. This is also where new construction becomes important. In DFW, many buyers visit builder model homes before speaking with their own agent. That can create problems. Builder registration policies vary. Some builders expect the buyer's agent to be involved early, sometimes at the first visit. The builder's sales representative works for the builder. Again, that does not mean they are doing anything wrong. It just means they represent the builder's interest. If you want your own representation on new construction, involve your agent before you start touring builder models. The fourth question is compensation. This is the part buyers are often most concerned about, and understandably so. The buyer representation agreement should explain how the buyer's broker is compensated. That compensation may be paid in different ways depending on the transaction. The seller may agree to pay it or contribute. It may be negotiated as part of the offer. It may be handled through seller concessions. Or the buyer may be responsible for some or all of it, depending on the agreement and the property. The important thing is transparency. Before signing, you should ask, what is the compensation amount? When is it earned? When is it paid? Can the seller pay it? Can we negotiate it into the offer? What happens if the seller will not pay enough? How could this affect my cash at closing? This conversation should happen before you fall in love with a house, because once emotions are involved, financial surprises become much harder. A good buyer consultation should include the full cost picture, which includes the down payment, the closing costs, the inspections, the appraisal, moving expenses, property taxes, insurance, HOA, repairs, reserves, and representation compensation. That does not mean buying becomes impossible. It means the strategy needs to be clear. The fifth question is, what happens if you find a property through another channel? What if you attend an open house? What if you click a listing online? What if a builder contacts you? What if your friend tells you about a home? What if you call the number on the sign? This is where many buyers accidentally create confusion. If you already have a buyer representation agreement, you should communicate through your agent. At an open house, let the hosting agent know you are represented. Before visiting a builder, talk to your agent. If you find a home online, send it to your agent instead of scheduling it through the random button. The goal is not to make the process complicated. The goal is to keep the representation clear. Now, let's use a simple example. Let's say a buyer is relocating to Dallas. They sign a buyer representation agreement with an agent. Then they visit 3 open houses, register at 2 builder communities, click on 5 online listing ads, and start texting listing agents directly. That buyer may not be trying to create problems. They may simply be excited and curious. But they can create confusion about representation, compensation, and communication. A better approach is simple. If you have an agent, use the agent. Let them schedule, let them ask questions, let them protect the process. That is part of what representation is for. Now, here are some red flags. Signing a buyer representation agreement without understanding compensation. Signing for a long term before knowing the agent's process. Working with an agent who only wants to open doors but does not want to provide strategy. Touring new construction without discussing representation. Clicking around online accidentally involving multiple agents. Or assuming the listing agent is automatically looking out for you as a buyer. Alternatively, here are some green flags. A clear buyer consultation, a defined search strategy, a discussion of total monthly cost, clear compensation explanations, a plan for new construction, a plan for open houses, clear communication expectations, and an agent who helps you avoid the wrong house, not just buy any house. Before signing a buyer representation agreement, ask, who represents me? What services are included? How long does this last? What properties are covered? How is compensation handled? What happens if the seller will not pay? What happens if I go to an open house? What happens if I visit a builder? How can this agreement be ended? And what should I expect from you during the process? Those questions are not rude. They are exactly the right questions. At Paragon Realty Advisors, we believe buyer representation should be clear before the search gets serious. Because the right agent is not just the one to unlock doors. They are there to help you make a confident decision in a complex market. If you are buying in Dallas-Fort Worth and want an advisory process before you start touring homes, reach out to us at Paragon Realty Advisors at www.paragondfw.com. If you found this video helpful, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and notification bell, and you will have access to all current and future content. And as always, make sure you leave us a comment below. We love hearing from you. Thanks for watching this video, and we look forward to seeing you in the next one.